So the new cover story for next month's issue of The Atlantic offers a sprawling examination of how the Ivy League broke America. In it, contributing writer David Brooks argues 6 main points. First, the system overrates intelligence. Success in school is not the same thing as success in life. The game is rigged. The meritocracy has created an American caste system. It has damaged the psyches of the American elite, and it has provoked a populist backlash that is tearing society apart. And David joins us now. David, a fascinating and important piece. Let's start with that last one, coming after the election, of course, where it does seem like a lot of what fueled this Trump vote, and he saw gains across the board, was sort of an anger, a backlash, a populist anger at the nation's elites.
Yeah, thanks for summarizing a 12,000-word piece in 30 seconds. You guys did a fantastic job with that. I wish I'd thought of that.
Brevity's our thing sometimes.
What's the big divide in American politics? It's the diploma divide. College-educated people are now trending sharply to the left, to the Democrats. High school-educated people are trending sharply to the right, to Donald Trump, and he rode a populist wave of anger from people with high school degrees and not college degrees. But that anger flows out of something. And it flows out of life in America right now. People with high school degrees die 9 years earlier than people with college degrees. They're 10 times more likely to die of opioid addiction. They make much less money. They're much less likely to marry, much more likely to divorce, much more likely to have kids out of wedlock. If you ask people, do you have close personal friends? People with high school degrees are 2.5 times more likely to say, I have no close personal friends. So I'm trying to describe a chasm in American society between those who have the advantage of a college degree and those who don't. And that chasm was created by policies that segregated people by bogus categories. And now the people who have been left out of that segregation system are revolting. And as we talk about the appointments and all the things that are really important that we're talking about today, we need to address the deep structural issues that gave us Donald Trump.
You know, hi, David. Simone Sanders Townsend. I found this fascinating, if you will, your whole piece. As I was reading it, I'm like, David sounded like Bernie Sanders, because the populism undertones here are strong. I'm wondering how race plays into this, right? If you look at a number of surveys that were taken throughout the election, I think back to a Goldman Sachs survey specifically, and they surveyed, middle manager, upper manager Black women in corporate America and the majority of them surveyed said that they feel like they're living paycheck to paycheck. And so how does race account into this? Because I do think that many of the points you make here are spot on. Too much focus on, grades and standardized tests, and not enough focus on, as my husband might say, street skills.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely right. First, I have a buddy who worked for Bernie Sanders who's now razzing me for joining the Bernie Bros, so I'm a little alarmed by that, frankly. But, I do think the number of people living paycheck to paycheck and the way race plays into it. I would say one of the things that we have to have in American colleges is representation. Representation to diverse communities. And when affirmative action was taken away by the Supreme Court, if you look at the statistics of how many Black students there were, how many other kind of minority students, they're just not as many. And that's because they have one standard for getting into college. The one threshold before anything else gets considered at an elite university is how you did in the SATs. And that's a system that is rigged because the rich people can afford to spend tons of money on their kids and get them higher SAT students, higher tutoring. They can get them all these extracurriculars. They can boost their GPA averages. And so if you grew up in the top 1%, you have a 77 times greater chance of getting in the Ivy League than people making, say, less than $40,000 or $50,000 a year. So the whole game has been rigged so rich parents can pass their advantages down to their kids. And that's what's created this inherited meritocracy, which has led to a permanent divide in our society. And if you happen to be part of a community that, has suffered 400 years of slavery and discrimination, of course you're going to be disadvantaged by that system. And so we need to have a better system that actually represents ability. That's my core point here, is it's not, can you do well on a standardized test? That's fine. It's important to have a high IQ. If you're going to be an astrophysicist, yeah, you probably need one. But for most of us, what really matters is, are you curious? Are you a good teammate? Do you know how to make sound judgments? Are you kind? These are the things that actually matter in life. Are you creative? And somehow our system does not favor the things that really matter in life and favors the things that make you good in a classroom.
Contributing writer for The Atlantic, David Brooks. David, thank you so much. The new cover story in The Atlantic and available to read online now.